Hey, Omnibus Cafe. I'm super excited for this review today. I recently finished Daredevil by Brian Michael Bendis, Volume 1 and 2, and it was amazing. So, grab a cup of coffee and let's check out this book. All right, let's check out this book. And I do, when I'm reading omnibuses, I like to read on this book stand thing just so my book doesn't open a full 180 degrees. But awesome cover work here. Daredevil, the man without fear. So Brian Michael Bendis. Most of the artwork is done by Alex Maleev. We have 4 issues to open this thing, beautifully painted by David Mack. Let's go check those out. There's a little introduction here that tells a little bit about Daredevil's history and really what kind of happened in the preceding run, which was the Quesada and Smith Marvel Knights run. Let's check this out. So we start off with this really dark, really deep story about really Ben Urich. Daredevil hardly shows up in this book, but it's about Ben Urich trying to track down what happened to this little boy. So we see 4 issues, again, beautifully painted, and I'll try to find some of the work, but it's not all paint. There's some really abstract, kind of weird stuff that we see in here. Looks like some crayon artwork by the child. Trying to find some of those pages where there's, newspapers in the background. Really cool stuff. Yeah, here you can kind of see some of this additional, unique stuff to comic books, comic book art. But then we get into the thick of it, and we switch over to Alex Maleev, and I hope I'm saying that right. So the story opens up with, of course, Matt Murdoch in court, and he has a big victory. And when he walks out, there's a big explosion. It appears that someone's targeting Matt Murdoch, but he doesn't know that for sure. We get introduced to this new character. I forget his first name, something Silk. His dad's a big mafia dude in New Jersey. And he comes over and he wants to take out Wilson Fisk. He thinks Wilson Fisk is aging, is no longer effective at his job. Look at that cover. That's awesome. So there's a hit on Wilson Fisk, the Kingpin, and we're made to believe that he, I'm not even going to, spoiler warning for this 25-year-old story. There's a hit on Wilson Fisk, and he does not die, but people think he does. We see the return of Vanessa Fisk. But anyways, during this downtime where Wilson Fisk is gone, this Silk dude is running the show, and he's not very good at it. There he is right there. Another awesome cover. So the main part of this story, which is this book, Volume 1 and Volume 2, is a big shocker. Daredevil is outed as, Matt Murdoch is outed as Daredevil in the press. So this whole run is about Matt Murdoch trying to balance his life as the lawyer and as Daredevil. He still wants to go out at night and crush some skulls, but a lot of things really interfere with that when the media is constantly at his doorstep, constantly at his place of business, asking him, "Are you Daredevil?" Couple issues we get to see some old girlfriends, some old flames come back and try to help out Matt Murdoch during this. We see Black Widow come back. There's Vanessa. Black Widow comes back. Elektra comes back. They've all heard this in the news, and they're like, I got to go help out Matt. I got to go see what's going on. Other heroes from the Marvel Universe get involved and decide they want to try to help out too. Spider-Man shows up. It's kind of moral support. They've always been very friendly with each other. We see Reed Richards come to Matt's defense because Matt has defended Reed Richards and the Fantastic Four numerous times. Who else do we see? Iron Fist shows up. Luke Cage shows up, of course. A lot of those standard Daredevil buddies. You see, obviously, Ben Urich and Peter Parker are in the newsroom when J. Jonah Jameson says, "How did we not get this story? We got to be all over this. I want this guy in prison." And they come to his defense. Here's a return, or I don't know, that's his former girlfriend's there, and he's obviously remembering a pretty awful night. Oh, look at this cover. This is fantastic. So this is the issue I was talking about where Spider-Man comes to help out Daredevil. Daredevil, he's always been kind of a loner, doesn't really want help, but at some point in this run, he's going to have to take it. Later on in this book, we see the story of Hector Ayala, which obviously heavily influenced the Disney Daredevil show. Very, very, very cool story about the white tiger and his amulet. It's really similar. Disney did a few different things. There's Hector Ayala, and obviously here I think this is a different artist on this, maybe first issue or so. But here's Matt Murdock defending Hector Ayala in court. And something happens to Hector Ayala, really similar to the Disney show when he gets out of the courtroom. I just want to talk about Alex Maleev's artwork and why it's so perfect. It's really, I guess I'd say, rough, really thick black lines, really kind of grainy, fuzzy backgrounds. It just works for a dark Daredevil story, and just really, really awesome. Who's this guy? Oh, this is the Owl. So the Owl shows up and decides that Silk guy is not running things well, and he decides to take over the Wilson Fisk territory for a while. I haven't read a lot of Daredevil back issues, so I assume this guy is one of his rogues galleries, and they kind of joke that he's been in and out of prison, he can never take down Daredevil, but in this run they really make him kind of fearsome. Daredevil, Matt Murdock meets this woman, or actually saves her life, and they start dating, and it turns out she's also blind. And Matt Murdock, he does it all the time. He falls in love. So near the end of this run, we see him secretly marry this new girlfriend. So you've got Daredevil fighting the Owl. Kingpin does make a comeback, so obviously he's not dead. The hit was a failed hit, but he comes back and he's looking to get his territory back. There's his new wife. Let's flip over and check out book number 2. All right, so here we are on book number 2 of the Daredevil by Brian Michael Bendis and Maleev run. And it starts out with his new wife not really happy about kind of what's going on in Daredevil's life. He's still managing the, being outed in the press. And something happens and she files for a divorce or files for an annulment. This first arc is really cool. Black Widow's out on a mission, doing Black Widow stuff, some spy stuff. And someone approaches Nick Fury and says, bring the Widow in. They want to trade her to get some other spy from some other country. I forget exactly where. He lets that be known to Black Widow, Natasha, and she goes into hiding with one of her old flames, Matt Murdock. So we get to see them bounce around town and do some, go on some missions, beat the crap out of some people. Matt Murdock is still fighting. There's again, constantly media at his doorstep, but there's also hits out on his life from numerous prior villains who believe that Matt Murdock is Daredevil. And so far, he's doing a decent job at keeping his two lives separated, right? There's no proof so far that he is, in fact, Daredevil. Again, you just see this beautiful artwork by Alex Maleev. Really cool, and would be a really cool what if story. Fury comes to him and says, hey, because Fury's always known, right? He knows everything. But he comes to Matt and says, why don't you come in? Why don't you come work for S.H.I.E.L.D.? We could use a guy like you. But Matt Murdock really does not want to give up his life and give up his law license. we see Captain America come out and say, you can come join the Avengers. Like, most of us are out. Our public identity, or our identity is public. Another cool issue, you get Doctor Strange, Reed Richards, Luke Cage approach him, and they're all trying to help Matt. But again, Matt, being that dark, brooding character, is a bit of a loner. Get some awesome black and white art. Another story. This story is about some guy that Daredevil took down years ago, and he gets out of prison. And he was kind of like the Wilson Fisk of his day. And a young Matt Murdoch, Daredevil, takes him down, sends him to prison. He goes to prison for, I don't know, 25 years or something. He gets out, and he knows that Matt Murdoch has been outed in the press. So he goes after Matt pretty hard. And there's a really cool flashback, flashes back to their first, when Daredevil takes him down, and then up to the present time when he's got Matt in a bit of dire straits. Got some old school kind of dotted looking art here for the flashback sequences. One of the FBI agents, I forget this lady's name, but she turns out to be heading the FBI's criminal investigation against Matt Murdoch to prove that he's Daredevil. But it also turns out that she is the niece of Hector Ayala. And when he died in the first book, she is gifted the White Tiger amulet. So she approaches Matt about, I kind of want to leave the FBI and be the White Tiger. I want to do good things, want to help people out. And there's an awesome 2-issue, 3-issue arc where he's training her. More just fantastic art. And it's really fitting of the story. This last one, called Decalogue, is it's 4 or 5 issues, and this closes out this arc. And it's all about people they're at a church, like a church group recovery type thing, and they're all talking about how Daredevil has impacted their life. And so it goes around the room. Each issue is dedicated to a new person. It talks about how Daredevil has impacted their life for the good or for the bad. And there's a surprise visitor at the end of this book. Wilson Fisk is trying to get out of prison. He says, I'm going to give you proof that Matt Murdoch is Daredevil. If you let me free. Ben Urich comes to interview him. Really cool issue. But yeah, that's book 2. So yeah, Brian Michael Bendis, one of my all-time favorite writers in comics. What he did for the Avengers in the early 2000s, fantastic. To be honest with you, as a child, I never read Daredevil. I was never into the character. And then once I started getting into omnibuses, I was kind of afraid of getting into Daredevil because I knew how much people love this run, the Frank Miller run, the Brubaker run, everything that's come after it. And I had a little fear that if I check out this Bendis run, I'm probably going to love it, and I'm probably going to have to buy everything else. And guess what? That's where I'm at today. Thanks for checking out the review today. Like and subscribe, or do whatever the hell you want. And let me know what you want me to review next. I'm about to finish New X-Men by Grant Morrison. And about a month ago, I reread DMZ by Brian Wood. So let me know in the comments what you'd like to see next. See ya. If you're in the United States, Canada, and Mexico, check out organicpricebooks.com. Use our discount code OMNIBUDS4LIFE for $2 off your order. Or if you're ordering 4 or more books, use OMNIBUDS4LIFE, ship it together to save 5% off your order. If you're in Europe or the EU, check out our friends at comicsbugle.com. They have free shipping to the entire EU. You can use our discount code OMNIBUDS4LIFE for €5 off your first order for a one-time use. And they've got a great reward point system.